Good morning, students. Today we discuss about new chapter number 5, Introduction to Euclid's Geometry. In previous class we discussed about coordinate geometries, Cartesian plane, etc. and solve. It is very easy question chapter. So in previous class we discussed about that chapter. Now we start new chapter, Introduction to Euclid's Geometry. Okay, and this is totally based on theoretical chapters and it is very important and easy chapter. Okay, so please concentrate everyone. Let's start into the chapter, Introduction to Euclid's Geometry. Okay, Euclid, here the word Euclid's, it is the name of the mathematician. Euclid was the first Greek mathematician who initiated a new way of thinking and the study of geometry. Okay, Euclid was the first Greek mathematician who initiated a new way of thinking, the study of geometry. Here the word geometry, here the word geometry is derived from Greek word geo and metron, two words. Here the word geometry is derived from two Greek words geo and metron. The meaning of geo is earth, and the meaning of metron is measuring, so we can say that the word geometry means earth measurement. Okay, the word geometry means earth measurement because of the word geometry is derived from two Greek words geo and metron. Here geo means earth and metron means measuring. So the concept, the meaning of geometry is earth measurement. Okay, ancient Egyptians were the first people to study geometry. Euclid is also the Greek mathematician. Ancient Egyptian was the first people to study the geometry. They were mainly concerned with problems of finding the areas of the plane figures such as rectangle, triangles. Okay, later the Babylonians discovered the formula for finding the areas of various rectilinear figures. Okay, first Babylonians discovered the formula for finding the areas of various rectilinear figures. The knowledge of geometry passed from the Egyptians to the Greeks, and many Greek mathematicians worked on geometry. Many Egyptians work on geometry. Thales and his pupil Pythagoras, two important mathematician, Thales and its pupil Pythagoras were among them. उनमें से ये two is important, Thales and Pythagoras. Okay, Euclid was the first Greek mathematician who initiated a new way of thinking, the study of geometry. Okay, Euclid introduced the method of proving a geometrical result by deductive reasoning based upon previously proved results and some self-evident specific assumptions called axioms. Now this is the history behind that chapter. Okay, now we discuss about axioms. First topic is your axioms, which is also known as postulates, axioms and theorem. Theorems. Okay, here two words: axioms or postulates and theorem. First we discuss about axioms. Axioms, the basic facts which are taken from granted without proof are called axioms. Okay, it is very important. The basic facts which are taken from granted without any proof are called axioms. Okay, let's an example of axioms: halves of equals half of half are of equals are equal. Okay, this is an axiom. Let's see, if a is greater than b and b is greater than c, a is greater than b and b is greater than c, this implies that it is always we find that a is greater than c. So the basic facts which are taken from granted without any proof are called axiom. So it is an axioms. Okay, and one example one more example: the whole is equal to the sum of its parts and greater than any of its part. Okay, the whole is equal to the sum of its parts. Suppose it is whole and all the interior part in that, then we can say that the whole is equal to the sum of its part and greater than any of its part. Okay, so we can say that the basic facts which are taken from granted without any proof are called axioms. Okay, clear? Now we discuss about theorems. We discuss about theorems. Okay, now theorems are, let's see, theorems are are statements which are proved through through logical reasoning based on previously proved results proved results and some axioms and some axioms. Okay, now we see one more time. Theorems are statements. Theorems are statements which are proved through logical reasoning based on previously proved results and some axioms. Okay, so this is the theorem. Now we discuss about some important terms in on next page. Now we discussed about some important terms. Some important terms like point, that is point, line and point, line and plane. Point, line and plane. Okay, now first we discuss about point. First we discussed about point. A point is represented by a fine dot, a fine dot made by a sharp pencil, made by a sharp pencil on a sheet of paper, on a sheet of paper. Okay, a point is represented by a fine dot made by a sharp pencil on a sheet of paper. That is in this way. Here this point, suppose that A is represented, this dot, a dot, this A is represented the point. It's represented the point. Okay, now we discuss about line. Now we discuss about line. Okay, a line, before line we discuss about line segment. Okay, the distance between two points AB is represented the line segment, and a line segment has two ends points, and it is represented by in AB in this way. Here AB bar represented the line segment, means a line segment has two ends point, and the distance between AB is called length of line segment AB. Okay, now we discuss about a ray. If a line segment extend in one direction, suppose that here A is end point and another is B end point, Now, if a line segment extend in one direction, here the arrow, here the symbol arrow represent in extend in that direction. Okay, so it is said to be a ray, and ray is represented by in this way. Okay, this is the ray AB. Okay, now if a line segment, suppose that AB is extended in both the direction, extended in both the direction, both the direction, then it is said to be a line, and line represented by the symbol in this way. Okay, this is represented the line. This symbol indicate that it is extended in both the direction. So we can say that a line segment has two ends point. Okay, and it is represented by in this way. A ray has one end point, and it is represented by in this way. And a line has no end points. A line has no end point, and it extends in both the direction, and it is represented by in this way. Okay, so dear student, it is clear. Okay, now we explain the line in another way. Suppose that if we fold a piece of paper, suppose that if we fold a piece of paper, and the crease in the paper represented a geometrical straight line, the edge of a ruler and the edge of the top of a table and the meeting place of two walls of a room are also examples of a geometrical straight line. Okay, and a straight line drawn on a sheet of paper with the help of a ruler and the sharp pencil is the closed example of the geometrical straight line. Okay, and in other terms, we explain that the line in this way: a geometrical straight line. A geometrical straight line is a collection of points and extends endlessly in both the direction. A geometrical straight line is the collection of points, and extends endlessly in both the directions. Okay, yes. So, and we shall denote lines by the small letter L, M, N, P, Q, R, etc. Okay, generally we denote lines by the small letter L, M, N, P, Q, R, etc. Okay, now we discuss about third point, plane. Now we discuss about plane. Plane. Suppose the surface of a smooth wall. The surface of a smooth wall, or the surface of a sheet of paper, sheet of paper or the surface of a smooth blackboard, or the surface of a smooth the surface of a smooth wall, or the surface of a sheet of paper, or a surface of a smooth blackboard. Blackboard are close example of a plane, are close examples of plane. Okay, and generally in this way we represented a plane. Okay, and the surface mentioned above are limited in extent, but geometrical plane extends endlessly in all directions. Generally, uh, geometrical plane extends endlessly in all the direction. Okay, please note that here the surface mentioned here above are limited in extent, but in geometrical plane geometrical plane extends endlessly 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 in all directions. All okay. So dear students, these topics are clear. Okay, now we discuss some axioms. Now some basic axioms. Some important axioms. Some important axioms. Some important axiom. Axiom first: a line contains infinitely many points. Okay, a line contains infinitely many points. Okay, axiom 2: through a given point through a given point there pass infinitely many lines. Infinitely many lines. Okay, many lines. Okay, through a given point there pass infinitely many lines. These are the basic axioms. Please remember it. Okay, a line contains infinitely many points, and through a given point there pass infinitely many lines. Okay, now we discuss about axioms 3. Given 2 points A and B, given 2 points A and B, there is there is one and only one and only one line, there is one and only one line that contains both the points, that contains both the points. Suppose that A and B are 2 points. Here third example is that given 2 points A and B. Suppose that we take 2 points A and B, because we discussed the point is a simple dot by the sharp pencil on a sheet of paper. Given 2 points A and B, there is one and only one line that contains both the points. Okay, so if we draw a line in this way, okay, that a line L, so it is clear that there is one and only one line is passes through two given points. No any more than one lines is to be passes from the given 2 point. Only one line is to be passes from two given points. Okay, yes, and simple this line is represented by the in this way. Okay, now we discuss about collinear points. Collinear points. Collinear points. Okay, 3 or more points are said to be collinear. 3 or more points are said to be collinear if there is a line which contains all of them, okay. There 3 or more points are said to be collinear if there is a line which contains all of them. Suppose that this is a line AB and 3 points K, L, M. Here all 3 points K, L, M are lies on the same or contains the line AB. So the points K, L, M are said to be collinear points. Okay. And now next point is congruent line. Concurrent lines. 3 or more lines are said to be congruent. 3 or more lines are said to be congruent if there is a point which lies on all of them. Then the lines are said to be congruent lines. Okay, 3 or more lines are said to be congruent if there is a point which lies on all of them. Okay, so dear students, please revise all the topic, all the discussion in this chapter. Okay, and in next class we discuss about next topic. Thank you.